Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 805, first week on Zeta, recorded live on November 22nd, 2021. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Duststorm.
I'm your co-host, Godzilla T.
And I'm Haas.
And we took a little bit of a break last week because, surprise, Infinite dropped last week on Monday during the Xbox 20 presentation. And instead of doing a podcast, we decided to play Halo.
I think that was the right decision.
Sorry.
I mean, it was kind of like, well, there's a new Halo. Everyone else is playing it.
Is anybody really going to be watching the podcast?
Right. Everyone else is going to be playing instead, so we decided to play with the community. I think last week we had, 3 different opportunities that you hosted to play Infinite GT between Monday, Thursday, and Friday? So lots of things going on with Infinite. Lots of positive and negative stuff with regards to multiplayer, which we'll go over some of the community discussions happening around multiplayer. There's also some recently announced campaign type stuff, which we are not going to be talking about on the podcast tonight. We're going to keep this podcast as spoiler-free as possible. And we might do a little bit more of a spoiler-ish ones, yes. GT is showing off his Halo Infinite Xbox, and I've got mine as well. We both got ours delivered.
It showed up!
Yeah. Mine showed up the day I was leaving for a vacation. So I literally took a picture, tweeted it, and one person liked the tweet.
Sorry, I was at work. I honestly didn't even see the tweet.
I got mine just in time for me to take a picture, finish packing, and head out the door. So I have not had a chance to set it up yet.
Well, mine actually showed up on the 19th, but since everybody was at work, there was nobody home to sign for it. So I didn't get it till Saturday.
Mine got delivered on the 18th somehow.
Yes, I saw that.
So it was fun to get it. I will be excited once I actually have a chance to unbox it and set it up on my desk, which I need to clean off a place for it on my desk because now it doesn't fit into any of my little stands that are horizontal for horizontal consoles. Because it's a nice big box.
Sucks to be you. Mine's going to go right back there.
That I have, this whole setup that I have with have shelves and then monitors on the shelves and the Xbox fits right into it. Yeah, that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to have to buy a new HDMI switch.
I'm not sure what I am doing with my setup. I think I'm going to attach my Xbox to my 4K monitor and just use that.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to stream from it when it's just connected directly to the monitor.
Well, I did buy a 4K capture card.
Yeah. No, I use an HDMI switch because I use my gaming monitor for 2 consoles and a PC. But I was just looking through the manual and it looks like it only supports 60 hertz.
The monitor?
No, the switch.
Oh.
And I was pretty sure when I bought it, it said 120, but I could have just missed. I was looking at like 200 different switches, so I have no idea.
Could be 120 for 1080p, maybe 60.
Yeah, it says
4K.
60 hertz, 1080p 60 hertz, or 4K 60 hertz. So.
That's too bad.
Unfortunately, so I may be in the market for a new Switch.
Did you just buy return it and swap it out or something like that?
No, I've had it too long.
Oh, okay.
I've had it for coming up on a year now, so.
Gotcha. Well, if anyone's interested in the Switch, then an HDMI Switch, not a Nintendo Switch.
Yes, let's clarify. We don't say the N word on this podcast because it's not related to Halo.
mean, we used to talk about Pokemon a lot, so Nintendo was relevant at some point in Podtacular's history.
But anyway, no, it's... I've just got to do some more research. I may continue to stream from my 1X and just play on my X for me. I may plug it directly into the monitor and just play for me.
Okay. That'll work. So, since we have the multiplayer beta, let's talk first impressions of the multiplayer experience. Let's start with the the non-controversial stuff, the gameplay mechanics. How do you guys think it feels? How do you think it plays with all the equipment, the vehicles, the weapon combat? What are your guys' thoughts on the gameplay aspect of it?
Go for it, Haas.
Okay. Well, I'm going to break it down into the three. I'm going to break it down into the 3 playlists that we have. I think ranked is flawless. I love ranked. I think it feels great. I know I was very critical. Sorry, you go ahead. I was just, you can answer this afterwards, but I'm curious what your thoughts are with if you had a chance to play Behemoth with the Ridgeback, the Warthog. But the Razorback? Razorback, yeah. I've seen it, haven't used it. Got it. Okay. Sorry, go ahead. So in ranked, I think it's great. I don't think Behemoth belongs there, but I think overall the playlist is great. They've taken the Halo 5 ranking system, brought it over, with a few tweaks here and there. But that is the most fun I've had. I don't know what it is. Whatever has changed from the flights to the game feels immensely better than any of the flights did to me. I don't know if it's because I've been able to actually sink solid long hours into it or what, but I finally have a grasp of the game. There are definitely mechanics I'm going to have to master. I think the sliding and stuff like that is really what's going to separate the higher end players from the lower end players and beyond. Quick play, it's fine because I get to play with my friends. I really don't like skill-based matchmaking in there. I kind of hope we see more variety of loadout weapons, things like that in quick play. The AR and pistol, I think the AR feels good, but the sidekick just doesn't. It feels inconsistent to me. And then big team is my biggest, that is honest to God the mode I was looking forward to the most outside of the campaign. This does not feel like big team battle is back like they were trying to promote. I don't know if it's the changes with how they've done vehicles and weapons. It just doesn't feel like a Halo big team battle experience to me anymore. And I don't know if it's just because we're missing those initial, everybody run to their vehicles, run to the snipers, and then go push that one, center masterpiece weapon like a rocket or, the laser or whatever in the middle, and then, jog for position. Now it's just okay, a sniper's over here and, what the cannon spike, the skewer is on the other side. And then the AR and pistol, it doesn't feel big to me anymore. I think fragmentation has a good amount of weapons along the map that kind of help you flow. You got all the medium range weapons out there, but the snipers and all that, they just don't feel as important anymore. And the vehicle combat, I feel like you kind of get steamrolled by whatever team lands on the Ghost or the Banshee. Once the flying vehicles come into play, if your team doesn't focus, especially when you're not in a full party of 12 where you guys can all call that out, it's really hard to kind of communicate, we need to take that thing down, and playing the objective, all that's kind of just a social experience right now as people learn Halo, but it just doesn't feel like Halo big team battle to me anymore. It just feels like they threw more Spartans on the field and kind of took away the big team battle experience from us more than added to it. And I know they keep talking about evolving the big team and making it more intense at the end, but by the time some of these vehicles get into play, the games are generally pretty much decided, and those vehicles can't really maneuver around these maps or can control maps. It can only control like small pockets on the layout of a lot of these maps. So I'm hopeful they can get that kind of adjusted, but overall I am far more impressed than I was at the flights. I really do enjoy playing, since we're just talking about playing. I really enjoy this game. This is a great step forward for Halo. The gameplay standpoint, I really think they've mastered, not perfectly, but they've kind of touched to the new and old player bases and kind of fuse them together in a way that I think can really potentially grow this scene back to a strong level of prominence long term.
And your buddy Dr. Disrespect has some high praise for Infinite.
he's I mean, I think he's still grinding, or he just ended. So he was going to get off at like 2:00 and he's like, you know what? I just feel like grinding for the next level in ranked. And he went another 2-3 hours. So, I mean, a lot of those streamers that are playing definitely are enjoying it. And they do share a lot of the similar criticisms, but I think overall the gameplay is sound right now.
It's what it sounds like. I think that's what I've seen most people agree on, is the gameplay is really has come along very well for Infinite, at least. GT, your initial thoughts on the multiplayer?
I mean, overall, I enjoy it. It's fun. I do have some issues with it, like Haas has said. The 4v4 experience feels very balanced. I mean, there's a few little tweaks, but overall it feels really balanced. I have not jumped into ranked yet. I'm kind of letting the rest of the players get ahead of me, and then I'll try to catch up. Anyway.
Get out of the sweaty games.
Well, no, I don't mind the sweaty games. I mind the games where I just absolutely get plastered.
That's what I was talking
I have
about,
that problem with other games. They remove skill-based matchmaking, and I go into matchmaking, I get plastered, and then it's no fun. I don't mind having to fight to win the game. That's what I want. I want to fight to win the game, but I want the chance to be able to do that when it's spawn die.
Right.
It's pointless. Anyway, so overall, they've done a pretty good job. I'm still trying to get used to Infinite's mechanics. It does play different than other Halos, but I think it's a good different so far.
Okay.
As far as BTB, I'm not a big fan of the vehicle drops. I know it's just another respawn mechanic, but it just really bugs me. We played a game, the new territories, the zone control.
Mm-hmm.
And the other team just kept getting wasp after wasp after wasp after wasp. I mean, we'd no sooner take one down, they had another one. We'd kill it, it'd have another one. I mean, there was no time between them killing a wasp and them getting another one. So I don't know what formula they're using to spawn in vehicles, but it's broken.
Well, big team right now, it's static rotation.
Yeah, well, that static rotation got stuck because they got like 6 wasps in a row, and we got Jack.
Sounds like a bug.
There are the maps I've played on, I don't know, they feel kind of cluttered for vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
The vehicles seem to be at a real disadvantage unless they're an air vehicle, to where they have the room to move around. But like a warthog, they're almost pointless to use. They're worse. They feel more frail than the Halo 4 warthog, which, you blow on it and it explodes. The Ghost, it either needs to be less durable and keep the damage, or do less damage and keep the durability. One or the other. Because right now, it's it's too strong. I'm not going to say overpowered. It's just too strong. I was literally being chased by a ghost. I was unloading with the chain gun on this thing, and they killed the warthog. And
yep,
it didn't even look like pieces had fallen off the ghost yet.
You know, one thing that drives me crazy about the ghosts is, say you get like side shots and you break the enemy Spartan shields.
Mm-hmm.
If once they stick their nose towards you, unlike previous Halo games, the Spartan sits lower, so you can't really jump up and get that finishing headshot and finish off the ghost. Where in previous Halo games, they kind of
the Spartan shrank by a foot.
Yeah, they just like they're sitting lower in these ghosts, or the ghost got bigger, however you want to lure it up. But it makes it even that much more challenging, especially if you're a ground person, to take on these ghosts. And I mean, to your point, like, they're extremely durable, which is, I'm fine with the ghosts being more durable, but like, don't make it a tank, that thing is a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that assessment on the ghost versus the warthog. The warthog the chain gun with the warthog does not compare well to the ghost.
I mean, it's great against infantry, works really well against infantry, but when you're doing vehicle on vehicle combat, especially if it's a warthog and a ghost, the ghost's going to win almost every time unless you got help from foot soldiers or a heavy weapon.
Yep.
That's just the way it's going to be. As far as the new shock weapons, verdict's still out for me. Some of them feel like they require too many shots to actually disable, and then some of them feel like, well, it takes a lot of skill to be precise with them. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think it's just I got to get used to them thing, because it's kind of a new weapon type for us.
Yeah. That one's going to probably just take a while to get used to and figure out how you're supposed to use that. I think.
Because, I've was using it, try to disable a ghost, to stun a ghost, and it just seemed like the stun portion just wasn't happening. And I don't know if it was just poor shots or just too long between shots, whatever. I don't know. They just take some getting used to.
Yep. It'll be a new meta to figure out for a while, probably.
The only other thing I got with Big Team is I honestly think the maps are too big for a 12v12.
I almost, to kind of go along with what you were saying, Haas, I almost feel like 12v12 Big Team is a different mode than 8v8 Big Team. I don't know if that's just because of the player numbers or with how the maps are designed with Infinite. I think map design is probably part of it, because thinking like Halo 3 and Halo 4 Big Team was a lot more open map concept. Like you had a few different places
with
where
your
you could hunker down
with your CQB spots,
right?
But
yeah. I feel like the Big Team battle maps that we have in Infinite, at least the 3 that we have started out with, High Power is probably the one that is the most open out of the 3. I think that really can, I guess, support vehicle combat the best out of the 3 and really have those longer sight lines, a little bit more open Big Team battle-like feel that we're used to with the previous Halos, where the map design and the 12v12 almost feel like it's just multi-squad battles in a way. It's not really a Big Team classic feeling.
Yeah.
That's kind of the sense that I get with Big Team. Not necessarily to say that it's bad. It's certainly different. I don't know if I have as much fun with the Infinite Big Team as I do, say, with like MCC Big Team stuff whenever you hop onto there with like Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4 big team, even Halo 5 big team is like, I think just this Infinite big team is just a departure from classic big team.
And I felt Halo 5 was a huge departure from classic big team, but
this one's even more so.
This just feels like, just removed.
The vehicle combat is very contained, it feels like, or it's very restricted because of the map design. And you don't get those kind of bigger type environment plays where you have like a wall of your team on one side kind of going up a wall on the other side. The maps almost force you to break out into squads and engage in squads instead of actually having a full on, like, oh, you have this one, you have a couple guys over here and a couple guys over here, and you're actually kind of some way kind of cohesively attacking the other team and not just off completely separated outside on a different battleground. That's the feeling I get with big team, at least. Now, some of the new game modes are interesting. I think that adds an interesting kind of flavor to Infinite's big team. I think verdict's still out for me on how fun that big team is compared to big team, I guess, like vanilla big team for Halo 5, which I haven't played in a while because there's big team Super Fiesta, so probably need to play that just for comparison. But yeah, I would agree. Big team does not feel the same as previous Halos with Infinite. Not to say that's necessarily a bad thing, but still trying to figure out how that feels in comparison to previous Halos and whether or not I like that departure. It'll be interesting to see once we actually get Forge, if we see people creating 8v8 specific big team maps. Obviously, there'll be a whole bunch of people remaking previous maps, so the community is going to go crazy just with remaking every single map like they do for every iteration of Halo. But I wonder if people are going to, specifically outside of remakes, trying to make some of those more classic 8v8 type experiences.
Have you guys found in big team? So, in classic big team, we always had that initial rush where people would run to the sniper, right? Whatever, if you're
power
a Valhalla,
weapons, vehicles,
whatever.
yeah,
and people would snag it from you. What I'm hating right now on the current BTB is I'll be going up to a rifle, a mid-range weapon, and those things. So now you're fighting over the mid-tier weapon as well as the power weapon. I'm just like, man, I can't buy a weapon unless I'm on fragmentation because I know where all the other spots are, where it doesn't seem like a lot of players have figured that out. But I feel like I'm fighting for every single weapon that comes available on the map, and then I just feel like I'm stuck with the AR and the pistol, and maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I would like them to at least try BR starts in big team and just see what feedback is on it. Do it for 2 weeks, and if it's more receptive, less receptive, at least we'll have our tangible outside of the studio impressions that we can be like, hey, people enjoyed the AR and the pistols better. That's what we're going with. Right now, I feel like I'm fighting for everything on that map. Every vehicle is
you have to go directly to a weapon station to get something that will be effective on a map of that size.
Mm-hmm. And why am I fighting for a ghost? That is it's just a whole new concept.
Yeah, the vehicle fights that they were always there. He who got there first won.
But later in the game, you would always be able to get a hold of it because these vehicles come and go like clockwork, but now it's. We
it's that extra mechanic of having to pay attention to when the vehicles are being dropped in.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the whole dropping in thing, I'm not impressed with.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this before, any vehicle that spawns at the beginning of the map or beginning of the match should not be dropped by the Pelican. It should respawn on its platform. And that's the only place it should show up.
Honestly, I think based on just all we're talking about, it is just a different experience through and through.
Yeah. Overall, the new Big Team Battle 2.0, it is not like the other Big Team Battles. It is its own beast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's a bad beast. It just, there's some things that I'm having to get used to. Like I said, the only thing that I can say right now, the weapons, or not weapon spawns, the vehicle spawns just really feel broken to me.
They're not even timed the same. They drop separately.
Well, yeah, although I did find Friday night when we were playing, I happened to look up, and if you guys go back and watch the VOD, you can see this if it's still up. I look up, and there's two pelicans just crashing into each other.
Yep, I've seen that before.
Like, doing, 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 doing. Anyway, the deal with Halo is always been, and the one thing I've always enjoyed about it is the fair balancing. If side A has a tank, side B gets a tank. Side A gets a Banshee, side B gets a Banshee. Now it doesn't feel that way. One side gets a Wasp, the other side gets a Ghost or a Warthog.
The Pelican drops are the same.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No. Then why did I watch a Wasp drop from one Pelican and a Warthog drop from the other at the same point? They're supposed to be the
same.
Yeah, well, they're broken.
They're supposed to be the same spawns.
Yeah, well, they're broken.
Well, Yeah,
someone said it has to do with the number of kills that the team is getting on how many spawns they get. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense, because that just enables the lead team to get even further ahead by spawning in better vehicles. The other thing is, I haven't seen a map yet that is actually designed to have a tank on it.
There's not one. That's the thing. Like, these maps aren't designed for what we would consider traditional big team.
I mean, even a Wraith. Yeah. There is, with the small radar you have and the number of places that are just so confined that the vehicle will barely fit through, it's just not fit for those bigger vehicles. So I'm interested to see what other maps they have.
I don't know how many they held back for release, but I'd be surprised if there weren't more maps coming for Big Team, at least.
Yeah, I hope they're not too far away.
Or I guess for Big Team and Arena. I haven't had a chance to play Arena yet, so I've really only played Big Team at this point. But
I will definitely say they're going to need more variety in the maps. Because they get repetitive pretty quick. I mean, even with the different game types, which I hope they expand on that as well. I'm not trying to be hard on the game because it's fun to play. It just has these things that I think need some work.
Sounds like Big Team has a little ways to go with the new generation of things, at least for our perspectives. What about, have you had a chance to experience Arena at all, GT?
Yeah. Well, I played the social, or whatever they call it.
Quick play.
Yeah. I have not gone into ranked yet. I've been playing with people, so
yep.
And we usually outgrow the 4v4 playlist pretty quick. So
every party, yes, you do.
I've definitely been BTB more than I have the 4v4. 4v4 feels good. The only real problems I have with it are caused by me. It's getting used to all the different mechanics, the new controls, what does what. I'm not adapting to this one as quickly as I did Halo 5.
I wish they had a couple more options as far as controller sensitivity, because in MCC I have one setting that is a half setting, and then in Infinite it's just whole number settings for.
No, there's half settings.
Not for the one setting that I'm looking at. Yeah, there's.
I know on the thumbstick. I know on thumbsticks there's half settings. So
there's half settings for, I think, acceleration, like for each like axis, but there's a multiplier or some other setting that isn't just whole number increments in Infinite, and in MCC there's half number increments.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on a half number increment, so I either turn a little bit too much when I flick or a little bit too less.
Probably looking at you're probably talking about look acceleration.
I think that's
those are whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. But your MCC actual stick sensitivity, it does do do 6, 6, 5, 7, 7, 5, 8.
Yeah. So it's that look acceleration that's just kind of throwing my kind of the flick that I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I got
one thing I've learned is I just turn look acceleration down as far as possible, because I have trouble adjusting for the speed.
The speed up.
The speed up. I can't. Yeah, I'm the full stick player. I'm either going left or right, or forward or back.
I'm that way too. Actually, I should probably look into something like that.
But yeah, it's like I said, I'm still tuning on the settings. I think I've got my sensitivity set where I like it, but I'm still kind of playing around with it. Next thing I really need to work on is the zoom modifier.
Like the movement when you're zoomed in, or
mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird that it feels so different compared to previous Halo games, but that's something I haven't touched yet because it's felt okay, and I haven't figured out what needs to change on those modifiers. So it seems like each one is different.
Well, I think in Infinite, they kind of readjusted the scale on your sensitivities. So, 10 sensitivity seems to be a lot faster than it is in Halo 5.
So I'm talking with a few other folks. They think some people think it's the same.
Yeah, like I said, I play. I'd have to look. It's been too long since I've actually looked at my settings in Halo 5.
Sure.
But it just feels like I had to adjust the sensitivity down lower than I did in Halo 5. I have to actually double check.
Gotcha. That makes sense. All right. What about the new kind of game modes? So there's the new kind of stockpile one for big team. There's total control for big team. The new strongholds and arena. What do you guys think of the new game modes?
Go ahead, Haas.
They're fine. The stockpile one is pretty fun, especially as you learn. You can remove cores from the other team's base and throw them out, and then kind of steal them. Once you kind of start seeing those kinds of things come into play, that's pretty fun. The control mode where you got to capture the 3 zones, that can be either extremely fun or extremely aggravating. I haven't had anything. I haven't had anything in between. You just sometimes some games just become a standoff, and you just can't do anything. But I like that. And then strongholds. I never had a problem with it in Halo 5. I do like the new scoring mechanics in that and Oddball. I don't know if you guys watched any of the HCS last night, but
I didn't get a chance to. I didn't even know there was an HCS event until they started tweeting about it.
I mean, there was just...
Was there any promo for it? I don't remember seeing any promo for it.
I saw a few little tweets here and there, but it wasn't promoted on a large scale. But
and then they made it like a whole big thing yesterday. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, there was a production and everything. I think, honestly, if you ask me, I think it just kind of got buried under everybody's tweets. I mean, I will definitely say Halo Infinite has taken over social media right now in the multiplayer gaming sphere right now.
Oh, it's taken over YouTube too.
Yeah. But so Pistola, Optic, in the first best of 5 that they ended up winning both best of 5s in the grand finals, they had 5 seconds left of game time. But if you're holding the ball, time continues. And he was getting pushed. So Optic was coming back. They were down by like 30 or 40 points. And as he was getting pushed, he jumped off the back of Recharge down by Sword and held the ball. So the timer, he threw it off as they tied the game. And so it went into another round of oddball. So he threw the ball off so the game timer would continue, but he did it just so perfectly that they had tied the game to earn another round in oddball. And then it happened again in the second best of 5. And it was, knowing that, I didn't know that was a thing. But so game time stops. It pauses at like 5 seconds. But you can continue to earn ball time for your team score. And you can come back and win.
So it's like a different overtime mechanic.
It's like sudden death. Yeah, it's like a new sudden death.
Sudden death, okay.
It was very exciting to watch. Like, I imagine watching that at a live event. And, I mean, especially who Pistola is, how crazy that crowd would have been going. I mean, my timeline was blowing up. My DMs were blowing up just of people that were watching that happen. And it was insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the new modes. I like the changes they made to existing modes. I mean, they're fine.
Cool. What do you think, GT?
Overall, I enjoy all of them. I definitely enjoy the scoring mechanics in Stockpile and in Oddball. I like the new mechanic with Capture the Flag, where you have an actual sudden death round. Whoever scores first wins. You can score with your flag away. So I like that. It seems to tend to break that stalemate that you usually get in Capture the Flag, or that happens in Capture the Flag quite often, especially in overtime. They've done a lot to make sure that a team wins the game instead of tying a game. And I like that mechanic. On Big Team, the flag moving around, I love it. It adds a new challenge, but it also adds kind of a check valve in there.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it helps with the whole steamroll effect.
Yeah, I think it helps because at least on Fragmentation, it seems like flags go from a little bit easier spot to pull it to gradually more difficult.
Stockpile, however,
that one has a little bit of a learning curve to it.
I don't know if I like it or hate it yet.
Still a little early to tell.
Right now, it's at the point where when it pops up, I'm like,
I'm not sure if I want to do this, or I don't know how I'm going to enjoy this.
Can I vote for a different game, please?
Right. No veto system.
There's in every game, there's a game mode. There's always a game mode that I prefer to play something else.
Makes sense. For a Stockpile, for me, it's going to be one of those feel it out, see how it plays over repetitive times. Right now, I don't know if it's just because it's still new, but it seems very steamrolly. We did have one game on Monday where it was a pretty well balanced matchup on high power, where I think we only won by like 3 cores, but all the other games that we had on it was very one-sided. It felt like the first game we were in, we had no clue what was going on and we got steamrolled, and then the next game I think we steamrolled them, something like that. So it'll be, for that one, interesting.
One piece of advice is between rounds, all cores despawn, whether players are holding them or not. That is because, the reason being is because it spawns more cores than you need to fill the banks. So one team can load up on cores and then almost instantly win the next round. That it just seems to take some of the fight out of the game.
Interesting. I will say that, and I haven't made this announcement on the podcast yet, but I'll talk about it in a minute. But during my time as Forerunner, we never played that game mode in our playtests. So that was a brand new thing for.
They probably should have had you play that.
We played Total Control, we played Stockpile, we played Oddball, we played CTF, we played Slayer. We did not play this Stockpile.
Yeah.
Game mode.
Like I said, the idea of the idea of it is great. And I see where they took the idea of Stockpile from Reach. But the deal was whenever it just collected the flags on a schedule. Every 60 seconds it would collect the flags and move the point.
I think it's an interesting concept.
It's a good concept. With the way they've got this laid out, I think having all cores despawn between rounds, like when one team wins the round, all existing cores on the map all existing that are laying on the ground or in players' hands despawn.
I think that might, just based on what I'm thinking of, I think that might be a more of adverse effect.
I don't think so. Because I've played games where team scores, they've got 5 cores, they only score enough to actually win the round. They hold the rest of the cores, and then within a minute of winning that round, they've got enough cores to do it again.
But then what about those times where it's, okay, they have 4 cores, you have 4 cores, you put in that one last core, and then all those 4 cores on the one.
I'm just talking about the cores that have not been planted. The ones that are laying out on the field or in Spartan hands. Those are the only cores I'm talking about. Anything that you've put in your bank stays there.
Okay. Maybe not in the player's hands. Maybe on the ground. I think it'd be kind of cheap if you're like getting close to planting it and then it just suddenly disappears. That'd be very frustrating.
Well, it's also the end of the round. What happens at the end of the round of Oddball? It resets. What happens at the end of a round of CTF? They reset.
Well, that's because there's one objective over multiple objectives.
It's still an objective.
Interesting idea.
If you didn't get it in there, then you've lost the round anyway, and you have to start over. You have to start fresh anyway. Make the teams go out there and get the cores and bring them back. It just seems more balanced to me. I could be totally wrong. I'm not a game designer, but
I gotcha.
It seems kind of cheesy to me.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice if the new mode was tested and not just old existing ones. Yeah. Okay. I think we've talked gameplay mechanics enough. The controversial stuff. Challenges and progression and customization. So, I think everyone is probably aware that the progression system is very grindy.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a candidate to impact how people play games because of certain challenges people might be going for. So instead of actually playing the game, they're playing for a challenge that
they're playing challenges.
Yep, which I think people brought that up during flighting. That yep, and now after all the community commentary about it, I was trying to be politically correct there. Comment and feedback about it, they are at least introducing a play one game, I guess, thing on like persistent rotation, so you're always getting XP no matter what you're doing.
You get 50 XP for completing a game.
Which, however,
doesn't address the main problem.
it takes 25 matches for the new 50 XP per match system to come in play for it to be a net positive.
Mm-hmm.
Which that does not address the problem.
But you are earning XP. Yeah, I agree with Haas.
Per match. But prior it was like play 2 matches for 100 XP. So it kept doing that apparently until like 25 matches. Then it starts turning into like 3 matches for 100 XP. It kind of like changed apparently. But, so on Reddit, they kind of like broke it down, the system pre and post, and you're not getting a net profit until 25 games of getting daily play match XP.
So is it only 1 play match XP per day?
No, so you play a match, you get 50. You play a match, you get 50.
Okay,
it just continues to go. But for
what's Haas saying profit, is the way it was before, you played 2 matches, you got 100 XP. Played 2 more matches, you got another 100 XP. Played 2 more matches, got another 100 XP. At some point, it would switch to, instead of 2 matches, you had to play 3 matches. And to get to the same point, you have to play more matches before you start getting the higher XP. Before you start outpacing the higher XP of the other ones.
Okay. 25 games. Jeez, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a per day thing or a per week thing?
That's daily.
That's a per day thing. That's a daily per day thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, generally on the Fridays, we'll do maybe 10 games.
Yeah.
And, they did adjust, the weekly challenges a smidge. Here's the tweet so you can see it. But it just, it's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
For them in their blogs to say they don't want it to be a chore or a grind.
And to do this.
Right now.
That is a chore or a grind. And I tweeted it today, like, what world are we living in that Activision has a more friendly progression and battle pass progression system more so than Halo?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's an issue.
Well,
and the never expiring thing is fantastic. Praise that. That's amazing. But you're still, this is 2021. It's not 2007 anymore. Players expect to be rewarded for playing your game alongside of having a great game to play. Being a great game to play is just not enough anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Being a great game is awesome. I want Halo to be great, and it is right now. I mean, there's definitely things we want improved and fixed and added to, but this progression system is a detriment, and it's a black eye on the game right now, because outside of people posting clips or, talking about how much fun they are having, it instantly goes to, boy, this is unfriendly. The microtransactions are unfriendly. I can't customize my Spartan the way I want to. Like, everything. Like a shoulder pad.
Yeah.
It is just, I don't blame 343 for this, because I think this is more the investor side of it than it is 343 wanting to implement something for the fans. But right now, 343 has to be our voice and be like, this is our feedback and we need to make some adjustments. And hopefully the ears listen.
Well, I mean, look at how successful MCC's progression system has been. And it's better than what this one is. And you would have thought, with how well received the one was for MCC, that they would have tried to adopt that one.
And I had issues with MCCs, but that was free, like through and through, after you bought the game. So the complaint's a little bit different. Now it's a $10 battle pass without a single gun skin in it, which is what you see 99% of the time when you're playing is your gun skins, and there's not a single gun skin in this thing. It just rubs me wrong.
Yeah. And a lot of people today have been commenting on how back in December, the progression system that they described is nothing like what they actually released with.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not against the challenges. Having the challenges there to get bonus XP, fine. But I shouldn't have to do the challenges to complete the battle pass. I'm not saying I should be able to blow through the battle pass in a couple of days just by playing the game. But over the course of the 3 months, I should be able to complete the battle pass by playing the game
the way you want to play it,
at the pace I want to play it.
Yep. Yeah. I want 343 to take a hard look at Apex's battle pass and progression system. I don't care if you copy and paste it. Copy and paste it and then add, this never expires because you bought it. And guess what? You're the best battle pass in town. Bar none. Like Apex, everything in there is like, play as this character. I mean, they have multiple characters, so you can remove those. But play, get 10 sniper kills in this week. Like, you have a week to do it. Daily challenges are just like, play a match in this mode, play a match in this mode, and play a match in this mode. That's it. That's your daily. And you get rewarded for that. And you probably do that. You're probably close to ranking up a battle pass tier on just doing those challenges alone, plus the time played. And then alongside of it, you have you have your gimmicky stuff. Capture the flag 3 times. Drive a warthog. I don't know. Get a ghost kill. Do what you got. Fix the vehicle system so we can actually kill these vehicles, use these vehicles. The vehicle ones need to go away until they fix that. But it really sucks right now. Like, I want to play Halo right now, but I'm like, I'm just wasting my time. Because right now, the progression matters to me. I'm sorry, it does. I bought this battle pass, and I don't want to play 20 matches to move up one rank. One rank. That is exhausting.
Yeah.
I played an hour of Call of Duty today, and I moved up 2 ranks in my battle pass. Like, reward my dollar. If I'm giving you my money, make sure that the player is also getting something from it.
Yeah, Halo Infinite's not going to be long-lived if they do not address this soon after release comes out.
And I hope 343 has a weekly blog this week, and they come out and address what they are doing. Besides, we hear you. We hear your feedback. Thanks. Okay, right. We're past that point. Now we hear your feedback. This is the steps we are taking right now to address this as soon as possible. Yes, we did something last week. This is what the next step is that we're going to roll out for you, our player base, that we want to continue to come back. Because this Halo right now is in prime position. They released early amidst mixed reviews from Call of Duty, mixed reviews from Battlefield. And man, what an opportunity for Halo to kind of like rise like a phoenix. Honestly, yesterday's HCS, a lot of people had their eyes on it. They had about 70,000 viewers watching on Twitch and YouTube, showcasing the top talent in this game right now, showing what is possible. Like, this is our opportunity. We got to take advantage of it. Or 343 needs to take advantage of it. Continue to stay on that gas pedal. That's what we want to see right now.
Yep, and hopefully they can make their improvements and changes rapidly.
I mean, that was supposed to be a perk of the new engine, is they were going to be able to make changes quickly and effectively.
Yep. I don't know how core progression is ingrained into certain mechanics. They might have to tweak things a little bit more than just being able to go in and say automatically do this, but
yeah, I think it should be within their realm of being able to pull it off by the time the game is released.
Yeah, since they put the Band-Aid shield in front of it.
Yeah.
Or the beta Band-Aid shield, whatever you want to call
it. The progression system, like, I played Destiny, I bought their battle passes, and Destiny is probably almost on the easier side, because as a very casual player, especially here as of late, it doesn't take me the entire season to go through their battle pass.
Right.
And I don't do bounties I just play the game. I do public events, do strikes. I stay the hell out of Crucible because it sucks. And I don't have a problem making it to that 100th tier. With the way the battle pass is in Halo Infinite right now, I'm telling you, right now, I don't see myself making it all the way through the battle pass by the time the next battle pass comes out.
And that was extended by a month.
Exactly. With what I've got now, I don't see myself making it all the way to the end of the battle pass by the time the next one launches.
Well, the battle pass got doubled for time.
Like I said,
it was 3 months and it's now 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't see myself making it to the end.
Yeah,
without some changes to the way the way you accumulate progression to it.
That needs to be changed.
I'm not saying take it to the point where Destiny is, but it needs to be a little bit more casual friendly, because that's the people that are going to be buying the battle pass, that's going to be spending money in your microtransaction store.
Yep.
Is the people that play casually.
Yep.
I often reach out to my real life friends that, they know what Halo is. They've played Halo, but they're off in whatever game land. Whenever they play Halo, I love to just kind of like interview them and just ask, like, what do you think? What are some things that stand out? What are you not? Right now, I just got a message. Needs to be more playlist. Needs to be more reward. He's like, what is this battle pass? I'm not buying this. Like, he said I'm a level 2 and I've played through all my placement matches. And like that to me is a concerning thing. Like, those are the players that you potentially are going to gain or lose on these systems. Granted, the game is great to play, and if you are still in that 2007 mindset of God bless you, like just playing is enough for you, that's awesome. But you're not the majority anymore.
No.
Those times have passed. Electric vehicles are here. Like that.
Microtransactions and
the
customizations
future.
and battle passes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and players expect to be rewarded for their time. And if they're not being rewarded for their time, they're gonna go somewhere where their time is gonna feel respected, and their dollar is gonna be respected. Even if it's a cost of a $20 skin, if they're still feeling rewarded after they buy that $20 skin, plus their battle pass, plus another $20 skin, they're going to keep going to that game. They are.
Yep.
I mean,
and Infinite's not there right now.
It is. And I trust 343 can do it, and I hope the powers that be allow them to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's my feedback.
Yep. No, I get it. All right, so on to our next topic. We've got an event coming up. So in addition to the whole Battle Pass stuff, we actually have our first event on Fractures happening tomorrow called Tenrai. There's a little promo that came out literally 30 minutes before the podcast. So if anyone has on their bingo cards of news coming out just before the podcast, you can add that to your bingo card. It looks like it's pretty much just special playlists with special rewards and unlocks. I don't know if it's going to be separate challenges tied specifically to that playlist, but in addition to the 4, which I think right now is Big Team, Ranked, Quick Play, and Bot Arena. Those are the 4 playlists currently. I guess this will be a 5th playlist, and maybe it'll be just maybe specific weapons in the game mode. It's hard to say, but something's happening tomorrow. Starting tomorrow with Halo Infinite. What are you guys' thoughts on some of this stuff, like the different armor that's kind of otherworldly and these different events? Like, I haven't played really Destiny or anything else to really kind of know how these events really feel and play. But what do you guys think of?
I absolutely love the idea of it, to be quite honest. I've always kind of felt like Halo had taken itself too seriously with this being lore accurate and all that. I'm like, let's have some fun here. Like, Halo's great. You can have your lore. This can be a training simulation, but let's have some gimmicky fun stuff in our multiplayer. Let's have the Doom armor get integrated, or how Halo integrated with Gears. Let's have some crossover. Microsoft has some great brands.
I want to be Skeletor.
Yeah, like cool. Like, I mean, I can be freaking John McClane in Call of Duty. Like, that's awesome. Like, let's have some fun in our multiplayer. Keep the campaign and any side missions, campaigns, anything like that. Yeah, keep it nice and tight and to the story. But in multiplayer, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun with expression. Let's get creative. 343's got a lot of creative people, and let's let them flex and be creative. And let as players, let's benefit from that. Why not?
Yeah, I totally agree. Let's have some fun with it. Put some fun armors out there. It doesn't have to be practical.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The only thing that I've had, well, the only thing that I have a problem with this special events thing is the ones that I've participated in are really grindy. And I mean really grindy. To the point where, like in Destiny, unless you play Destiny 8 hours a day, every day, you're not going to get the full set of armor.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to, in the case of Destiny, completely upgrade that set of armor.
Okay.
Because some of it's locked behind challenges I don't do. I don't do raids. I don't do nightfalls.
Okay.
It's so that automatically just takes that piece of armor and puts it over here, and I don't care about it. Make it attainable. I'm not easily attainable, but make it attainable for the average player.
Mm-hmm. Someone who has a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah. That's the only thing that I would say about these special events is make the stuff attainable for everyone. Because yes, there are a lot of players that have the time that can sink 20 hours a day in playing Halo. That's fine. I'm glad you have that much time to play Halo. I don't.
You don't?
No, I have this thing called responsibilities that I have to take care of. And I can't just sit down and play Halo all day long as much as I'd want to. But it's just, that's the only piece of advice I can give them. I just don't want to just right off the bat be felt left out because I can't put the time in that's going to take to get the things that they're putting in there.
Makes sense. So make it something that is attainable with a reasonable amount of gameplay and maybe some challenges that don't detract too much from people actually trying to enjoy the game versus encouraging a specific play style.
Exactly. I don't.
Basically, like all the issues
I'm
that we're
not a fan
facing.
of getting. I'm not a fan of challenges that state get so many kills with this weapon, get so many kills with this vehicle, kill this vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The kill the vehicle thing is, that's usually pretty easy, but getting kills with a vehicle, that's total random luck. You have to be the guy that gets to the vehicle first, and then you have to live long enough to actually get the kills.
Yeah.
Except for in the case of the brute chopper, which sounds like crap, by the way. It sounds like the mongoose.
There's some interesting effect sounds in Halo.
I mean, the brute chopper is supposed to be, it sounds
little motorbike type thing.
come up with this sound? I'm sorry, guys. I know you're professionals, but that's bad. Go stick your microphone by the tailpipe of a Harley Davidson or something. Put it behind a big block Chevy. You know, that's the kind of sound I expect from the brute chopper.
Fair enough.
Not a weed whacker. Anyway, back to what I was saying. As long as they make it something that's attainable, I think that's a good thing.
Okay. Any additional comments, Haas?
No.
All right, cool. So that's happening starting tomorrow. I'm guessing it will go for a week. How long do the Destiny things usually last?
Oh, they usually last 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Decent chunk of time.
Okay. So maybe a little longer.
But like I said, the stuff they put in there is really grindy, so.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess we'll see. See what happens. We do have the achievements for multiplayer, which you can actually earn through the multiplayer beta. Should we go over some of those? At least all the multiplayer ones. True Achievements does have the campaign ones. If you actually go to the achievement list on Steam or on your Xbox app, it actually will not show up the campaign ones. They are technically hidden or secret. True Achievements does have them, so if you're wanting to check it out, just make sure wherever you're looking at doesn't have the campaign ones intermingled, or at least True Achievements has them separated out so you know not to go all the way past a certain point.
If you don't want spoilers.
Exactly, if you don't want spoilers. If you don't care for spoilers and you're okay with that, then by all means go ahead and look through it all. So let's go down some of these. A lot of them are probably going to be pretty easy, and it sounds like people are getting about at least a quarter of them just by doing bot arena as well. So first one is, which one of us is the machine? Get and equip a new AI, 5 gamer score. Passion for fashion, wear a new armor customization item, another 5 gamer score. I'll just say these are 5 unless I say otherwise for the time being. Need a weapon? Try out a new weapon customization item. That thing on the left is a brake. Test drive a new vehicle customization. I don't think I've actually done that one yet. I don't even know if I have a new one to test with. Reporting for duty, change your Spartan tag. I'm ready. How about you? Change your Spartan's look in the customization menu. So it sounds like all those are pretty much just go in and customize your Spartan, and those are a quick 30 that you can get just by launching the game, essentially. We've got Battle Tested, which is complete a battle pass, and that is worth 10 gamer score, which will basically be a very long time. Clocking in, complete a daily challenge. We have a job for you, complete a weekly challenge. Limited edition, complete a limited time challenge. That's worth 10 gamer score. You're a rock, play a ranked match. All about the grind. Finish ranked placement matches. That's 10 gamer score. Get the popcorn and view a clip in theater, which I hear theater is actually pretty bad too, but we'll talk about that another time. Customary, play a custom game. Getting strong now. Launch into training mode for the first time, 10 gamer score. Sparring partners, change any training mode option, 10 gamer score. Sharpshooter, complete a weapon drill. Deadeye, earn 3 stars in the weapon drill, 10 gamer score. Augmented, earn 3 stars in 5 tier 3 weapon drills, 15 gamer score. Doing your part, complete the tutorial, 20 gamer score. Just the 2 of us, access your personal AI, 5 gamer score. Make a little more noise, grab a power weapon from the tutorial armory, 5 gamer score. Greased Lightning, complete the movement yard in under 25 seconds. Apparently that was a hidden one, sorry. But that's multiplayer specific. Is that training mode available in the beta? Or is that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's there. Peak performance, earn 2,000 score in the match-made game, 25 gamer score. I actually got that one during our game night on Monday last week.
Yeah, I got a total of 20 of them during that play.
Nice.
That's particular play session.
Gosh, 20 achievements?
And it wasn't even, I wasn't even trying. I was just playing the game.
Nice.
So those are good achievements.
Slaying with Style, earn a Mythic Medal in a match-made game, 50 gamer score. Back to the Chopper, earn Splatter with a Brute Chopper in a match-made game, 10 gamer score. New Kid on the Block, earn Perfect with a VK78 Commando in a match-made game, 10 gamer score. Party Bus, earn Mount Up in a Razorback in a match-made game, 10 gamer score. What Say You? Earn Chain Reaction with a Shock Rifle in a match-made game, 25 gamer score. Peeker's Disadvantage, backsmack an enemy who is zoomed in with a scope weapon in a match-made game, 10 gamer score. Brutality, kill an enemy with a melee using a bladed weapon in a match-made game, 10 gamer score. Sick Burn, kill an enemy with the Ravenger's charge shot in the match-made game, 10 gamer score. Kebab, that's funny. Destroy an enemy vehicle with the Skewer in the match-made game, 10 gamer score. Skyhook Shot, Grapplejack an enemy flying vehicle in a match-made game, 25 gamer score. Working Remote, pick up a weapon using the Grapple Shot in a match-made game, 5 gamer score. Secret Stash, place an item in the Razor's Back storage in a match-made game, 5 gamer score. Bomb Returned, repel an enemy grenade using the Repulsor in a match-made game, 10 gamer score. Do You Even Gift, drop a power weapon for an ally in a match-made game, 10 gamer score. Multi-Class Racer, drive 4 unique vehicles in a game, 10 gamer score. So that one's big team focus, obviously. They See Me Rollin', spectate an ally that is driving a Warthog or Razorback in a match-made game, 5 gamer score. One Shot Top Mid, mark an enemy located at top mid in a match-made game, 10 gamer score. Enemies Everywhere, mark 3 plus enemies at once in the match-made game, 10 gamer score. And we've got 7 more here. Natural Formation, Location Sensation. That's a name for an achievement, my goodness. Gain access to a loot cave in a match-made game, 10 gamer score. A Fellow of Infinite Jest, kill 3 enemies with the ball in an oddball game in a match-made game, 25 gamer score. Running Laps, capture the flag twice in a capture the flag game in a match-made game, 25 gamer score. Zone Ranger, secure 5 zones in the Stronghold games in a match-made game, 25 gamer score. Medic, revive 3 allies in an elimination round in a match-made game. I don't know if we have that.
I haven't come across it yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. That was 25 gamer score. Control Freak, assist in capturing all zones that lead to a score in Total Control game, 25 gamer score. And Straight to the Back, deposit 5 power seeds in a stockpile game in a match-made game, 25 gamer score. So most of these are pretty reasonable, not too difficult to get.
Yeah, the one capturing 2 flags I got on my first game.
Nice.
My first game that it actually allowed me to load into was a capture the flag match, and I capped the flag twice. Actually, I capped the flag 3 times, but
you got all 3 caps?
I got all 3 caps.
Nice. Yeah. Very nice.
One of my teammates carried the flag most of the way back on the 3rd one.
You took it home.
I just did the last 100 yards.
Yeah, gotcha. So in total, there are 50 achievements for matchmaking with a total of 600 gamer score. And then there's an additional 69 achievements. Nice number. With 1,000 gamer score, and that is for campaign. So there's a total of 16.
Jeez, what is this? Master Chief Collection?
No, they need to get into the 700s for that to be a thing. I mean, at some point it might, depending on how campaign DLC works, how new DLC adds new.
Oh, I'm sure every new DLC is going to have some achievements.
Yep, I would assume so. Be very surprised if there wasn't. So, Pins, you can go to True Achievements. Just there will be a section that says campaign at the top of it.
It's like an image break.
Yeah, there's an image break. Just don't scroll past that. But everything else is fine.
I'll just wait until after the game launches.
You can see the achievements also in the Xbox achievements in Steam, and it has the campaign ones hidden.
Yeah.
So that works too. Yeah,
I was just looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I knew I got 20 of them, because I went through and counted them.
Nice.
But, that's the achievements are nice. I mean, there are some that are going to take some skill to pull off, but there's a sizable chunk of them that are just you get by just playing the game.
Yeah, there really
you don't have to do anything super special like, kill a Spartan exiting armor lock with a melee or, something like that, which I still need to get.
I can see them adding a few more in here too, like skewering 2 people at the same time.
God, I hope not.
I mean, just...
No. Don't listen to him. I don't need another Spartan laser challenge.
or make it to where you can just do it in customs or something. So if you want to grind it, you can.
Pens is like, no.
I'm sorry for bringing it up. So that's the achievements that we have for multiplayer. In case anyone's interested, you can go and find out more details about them in your achievement list on Steam or Xbox, or again, true achievements if you would like to see the entire list, including the hidden campaign ones as well, if that's your cup of tea. There was an article that released with the whole Infinite multiplayer beta announcement. I think we've gone over most of the stuff that's in there, but there's a couple of things to note. So there's a minimum specs or recommended specs for Infinite. So minimum specs for your PC have an AMD Ryzen 5 1600 or an Intel i5 4440 for your CPU. GPU AMD RX 570 or an NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti. So still pretty recent stuff. 4 gigs of video memory, 8 gigs of normal memory, and at least 50 gigs of storage space for the game. Ultra settings, which I don't know if anyone has these, or if you are, you're made of money or got ahead and got really lucky.
Dude, no kidding.
I've gotten really lucky.
AMD Ryzen 6 5900X CPU or an Intel i9 11900K. GPU AMD RX 6800 XT or an NVIDIA RTX 3080. 10 gigs of VRAM, 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're pushing 11th gen on a Microsoft title.
And apparently there were day one drivers for both AMD and NVIDIA graphics cards to support Infinite. So if you're running into some graphical issues with your game, check those updates.
Yeah, actually, since Infinite's launched, I've updated my driver twice.
I've actually not updated my drivers yet. The game runs really smooth compared to the flights. It's been a lot better.
Yeah, I've been playing on my, I've got a gaming laptop and I've been playing on that and it's been running it just fine. It's not a super spec machine. I mean, it's got a 1660 Ti in it, the, mobile version. So, and it runs fine on that.
So 1660 is at least minimum. You got Ti, so it's probably a little bit higher than minimum.
Well, yeah, it's a generation newer than the 1050 or 10 series.
Yep.
So it's not the bottom of the barrel.
No, it's a decent one.
I'd have put it on my other machine and see how it runs on my 1070.
That's, and if you're, I don't know if these specs are for running at 4K resolution, because I'm sure if you're running at 1080p, it wouldn't have to be as much either.
Well, yeah, the lower end graphics cards, you're going to have to run at a lower resolution.
Yeah. So there's PC recommended specs if you want to learn more about those details. There's also a celebrating 20 years of Halo customization set that was available from November 15th to the 22nd, which is today. Free content, basically. So there was a kind of Master Chief Green armor coating. There's a AR and vehicle weapon or vehicle coatings as well, along with the little, what they call the little things that hang off the weapons.
Charms. Weapon charms.
Yep. Weapon charms. And
kind of like the things that hang off your mic boom, your boom arm.
Exactly. Pretty much. And a few other emblems as well. They talk about the different ranked arenas. There's controller, there's keyboard, mouse, and then there's cross input that you can select in there. Like Haas was saying earlier, they brought over the ranking system from Halo 5. So there's bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and then Onyx ranks throughout the ranked playlist. And then the 4 different playlists that we have in matchmaking, big team battle, quick play, which is the social side of things, ranked, which is ranked, and then boot camp, which is the 4v4, which is 4 human players against 4 bot players. Season 1 of Halo Infinite's multiplayer is Heroes of Reach, so it's all Reach-inspired customizations from armors to emblems to armor effects, charms, all that kind of stuff will be available in the pass. And we've already talked about the pass quite a bit already, but it's 100 different tiers that has over 100 rewards. And they did say that Season 1 will be, instead of 3 months long, at least 6 months long now. So plenty of time to try to unlock it, I guess. Hopefully they make some changes to where it will not take that long.
50 XP at a time. Oh.
Yeah, hopefully they change that soon. They need to change that soon. Anything else that we need to talk about tonight, gents? You want to touch on some of the HCS stuff going on, Haas, to wrap things up?
There's another open this coming weekend, online tourney. Definitely check it out. If this last weekend was any indication, it should definitely be fun as we ramp up for our first live event in Raleigh. Raleigh? I don't know. Raleigh. Yeah, just get, it's a good time to tune in. It's a new game. There's some new faces. There's some old faces. And if you kind of just want to see what top tier Halo is and kind of get ahead of the storylines as they evolve in esports with any game, I think right now is a good time to do it. You got casters on there that are great at explaining what is going on and the modes. Oh, excuse me. And you might just learn something. So check it out.
So I'm thinking once the game actually launches of bringing back the whole kind of tips and tricks segment that we used to have way back in the Podtacular vault of Halo 2 and Halo 3. So we might do that as far as tips and tricks for the different weapons, the different armor abilities, and different maps. So stay tuned for that. If you got some cool things that you've learned how to do with like the grapple shot or the repulsor, hold on to those because we will probably have a section where we will talk about those once the game actually releases. Because everything is still technically up in the air, even though that it's basically released and they're calling it a beta. Things could change, and there will be day 1 patches, so things are subject to change. Yeah, if it wasn't so close to the holidays, I would try to maybe get to Raleigh since I have a brother that lives there, so it would be pretty convenient just to drive down there and crash at his place for a weekend. But with it being right smack dab in the middle of the holidays, just not feasible. But they did announce the 2022 roadmap.
They did.
Which the finals are going to be in Seattle in October next year. So I do plan on going to that. I don't know, Haas, if you're still going to be there by that time.
I won't be there, but I did tell the wife I might be flying back. So
maybe you and I can find a VRBO or Airbnb to crash together on or something like that.
That'd be sweet.
Because at least it's finals. Like all the intermediate stuff, I don't mind missing, but finals, it's like that's where I would want to be.
Yep.
I'll be right here.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I guess one little thing before we wrap up the podcast tonight, folks may have seen this on Twitter, but I had the very fortunate privilege to actually be part of a community program with 343 called the Forerunners. And there was a select few of us who actually got to help provide feedback to Infinite's development over the past 2 years for some of us and 3 years for others. So I have been actually contributing to that for the past couple of years, mostly on the multiplayer side of things. I might have some of my fellow Forerunners on a separate podcast, and we'll talk more about the Forerunner program, how that was. Also, maybe talk about some of the campaign stuff, which we're allowed to talk about. You guys have probably already seen it if you are interested in the campaign stuff. For those that are trying to avoid spoilers, like GT, probably trying to stay away from all that. But embargo was lifted to talk about the first 4 missions of the game. And I'll say this about the campaign, and not to necessarily throw expectations out of the water, but from what I've played, this might be my new favorite campaign for Halo. Not to set expectations so high, but given the gameplay, the story, the interactions between the characters and the world, it feels very good. I feel like the campaign side of Halo has been treated very well, and it's a very fresh new experience that people are going to enjoy. And that's all I'll say. I'm not going to really dive into any specific campaign-y stuff because I know GT doesn't want to hear that just yet. He wants to experience for himself, and I'm sure other people want to as well. But we probably will have a podcast where we talk about what we can talk about on the campaign side of things within the next week or so. So that'll be a separate thing, and then we will specifically say, hey, this is going to be spoilery, so avoid it if you do not want to be spoiled. And then you can come back and listen to it after the game is released.
Well, then I won't need to, because I'll already experienced it.
That's true. You make a valid point. So, gentlemen, 1 week of Infinite down, officially, unofficially. I don't know how we kind of treat this. It's like they call it a beta. It's pretty much kind of the full release.
Just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
things will change. They already have in some respects,
and
hopefully they will continue to move it in a positive direction.
I'm confident in 343's ability to take the feedback and try to act on it. What I'm not so confident on is where the stakeholders' impacts and influence on the game. So we will see.
We'll see.
We will see. So that's going to wrap up the podcast for tonight. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back again next week with more Infinite goodness. I don't know if we'll have another podcast between this one and the next one. That might be the spoilery one or the Foreigner one. Stay tuned to social media to find out. Talking about social media, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Going to Podtacular on either one of those platforms. You can also find us on all different podcasting services. We are on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Facebook Podcasts now, Spotify, Stitcher. Pretty much anywhere you can listen to podcasts, we are there. If there's a place that you listen to podcasts that we are not, please reach out to us and let us know so we can get the podcast on your preferred listening platform of choice. You can catch the podcast on Mondays for the time being here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. We are changing it up because of schedules going a little crazy with the holidays. So for the next few weeks, we are going to be doing Monday podcasts, and then we'll hop right back into Thursday podcasts towards the end of the year, beginning of the year. You can find us on Fridays also for Fragging Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Not sure if we're putting a poll up any more for the time being. I'll let GT make
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Infinite for a while.
So come play Infinite with us on Fridays. If you are going for achievements and challenges, then come hit us up on Sundays at 10 o'clock. That's when we're doing Achieving Halo. Still going through some of the Season 8 challenges and unlocks for MCC. And we'll be also diving into some of those 360 achievements that people are hunting for by the middle of January. You can check out the Podtacular Discord, going to podtacular.com/Discord. That's where most of the community hangs out. And check out our Xbox Club. If you get some cool screenshots or clips of your Infinite gameplay, then please share it with us on the Xbox club or share it with us in our Discord. We'd love to showcase it and talk about it here on the show during our Tales from the Foxhole segment, which we haven't done this week just because Halo Infinite was out. There's lots of Halo Infinite news to talk about. Hopefully we can squeeze it in on the next podcast. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so in a number of ways. You can do so by subscribing to us on Twitch, becoming a patron over on Patreon. Shouts to Confowl, Prestige, and Pins for their continued support over there. And you can also donate to the podcast directly if you so choose via PayPal. Go to podtacular.com/donate. Those are monetary ways to help. If you want to help in other ways, you can feel free to share the podcast with your friends and other Discord servers on social media. Word of mouth really helps get the podcast out there. And with Infinite out there, it is time to get rolling with the content train. At least as much as our schedules allow, being full-time workers for the three of us. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Any final words or thoughts, Haas or GT?
Nothing for me tonight.
Everybody have a great week. We'll see you Friday.
See you on Friday. Keep on fragging them trucks.